Everybody, it's Evangelist C. How are we doing this morning? I'd just like to say please subscribe to my channel, and I've got my email address below if you've got any prayer requests or any Bible biblical stories you would like to talk about. So today is Wisdom Wednesday, Wisdom Wednesday, and Wisdom Wednesday, Wisdom Wednesday, Wisdom Wednesday. So today I would like to talk about Joseph and his brothers. Yes, I would like to talk about Joseph and his brothers today. This biblical story is really interesting. It starts off with Joseph being the favorite. He was actually the favorite brothers out of all his brothers, and there was a lot of him. And he was the favorite from his father. His father just demonstrated that that Joseph is the one that he loves and he prefers, and he didn't hide it. He was very open with the fact that Joseph is his favorite. Now, normally when you have siblings and children, you're not supposed to have favorites. Yes, we know that. But there was something about Joseph that his father could see that was different from the rest of his brothers. And because of that, he had to home in on that and nurture it, because that's what he can see. He can see that there was something different with him. Now, what was different with Joseph was his heart, was that he can see, because he could dream. Joseph had dreams, he could dream. And Joseph, he wasn't like his brothers in the sense as, you know, they would just like hunt, they would just hunt and play around, but they wasn't interested in like God's kingdom. They wasn't interested in spiritual things. They wasn't interested in what Joseph was interested in. Joseph's dad could see his heart and what his heart was about, and this is the reason why he nurtured him and gave him the tests that he had. So Joseph's dad knew that the brothers and the siblings didn't like him. He knew that, but what he did is he sent them all off to go and do some harvests, and you know, go to get some things from the farm and just go there together as brothers. But he knew that even though he was doing that, he was getting him ready, he was getting him prepared for the real world, because he knew that Joseph had a big task ahead of him. But where do you start with? You start with your family first. So that's what happened with Joseph. It started with his family first, and because it started with his family first, you will get to hear the rest of the story, which I know you know about already. So I just wanted to emphasize the ending bit, that you know that at the end you will see what happened and what became of Joseph. But the moral of the story is this: Joseph's brothers were so envious of him, all of them, that he could dream, that he was the favorite, and they didn't even see anything in him. They was like, but hold on, he doesn't even have anything, but why is he the favorite? So they started to hate him, they started to mock him, they always was just do horrible things to him because he was the so-called favorite. This is what life's about. Sometimes when you've got the light in you, when you've got the shine in you, people around you don't like it, or they can't see it, or they can see there's a difference, but they just don't understand it. And because they don't understand it, what do? They start to mock you, they start to hate you, because they don't know what you have and the gifting of who you are. They can't appreciate who you are because they are not it themselves. So how can they appreciate something that they don't know? Anyway, the brothers hated him so much until they pretended that he was killed. Even I'm very surprised they didn't actually kill him, the way they hated him so much. But because they know that dad loved him, what they had to do was just pretend, and that pretending was good enough. So Joseph was wearing a jacket which was given by his father, and this particular jacket that was given by his father, him and his brothers went off to go and hunt, to look for food and come back home. And the brothers decided to get a stone and hit him with the stone, and he dropped and he fell. So actually in their eyes they actually thought he was dead, but little do they know he wasn't dead. Anyway, so what happened was this: they got his coat that he was wearing, that his dad gave him, and put it in animal's blood. So they killed an animal and they put blood all over the coat, and then they went back to the father's house stating that Joseph has died with this bloody coat. But what happened was that when they was dealing with Joseph, because you know they threw a stone at him and he dropped and he fell on the floor, so they thought that he was dead, but in actual fact he wasn't dead. And there was some guys that came that was just walking past like, what's going on here? Like, I don't understand what's going on here. And can you believe it? The brothers said, "Oh, you can take my brother if you want. You can take my brother. Give us some small money, and you can take him. It's not a problem, right?" So the guys took the brother because obviously they need workers at those times. They was very into like making man's work. So people that would work for them, they was very used to that. So it wasn't a thing. They was like, okay, they see this as money, so they see him as money. So anyway, so they took Joseph off. Joseph was riding off to another place of the area of the country, and then all the brothers went back to the father's house like butter wouldn't melt, with blood on the coat, pretending it was Joseph's blood. And then went and gave it to the father and said, yeah, there's a beast that ate him, and we tried our best to try and stop the beast eating him, but we couldn't do anything. And there was all of us, we couldn't do. Obviously, there was lying. You know how the thing is. They was lying. But at the same token, they all ganged up and said, this is what's going to happen. They ganged up. They told the dad. The dad was devastated. He was mourning. He was mourning. Because he wanted his son. He loved his son. He knew what his son was about. He couldn't believe that this could happen. So he was just crying. Right now, he's devastated. The dad is sad. He's not eating. The whole house is in an uproar because of Joseph. The whole house is in an uproar. Anyway, it so happens that Joseph now, he is taken away. When he's taken away, he is actually made a slave. He's made a slave. But he went to a king's house. He was in the king's house. And when he was there, he was working, and he was working there. And as he was working there, he made friends there and things like that. And what happened with Joseph was he was be able to tell dreams. So this is the reason why he went to the king, and the king was talking about dreams and things like that, and he was able to translate the king's dream for him, because the king was like, he had all these people that we would call right now as like witches or fortune tellers that would try and explain the dream to the king, but nobody could give the king an answer. So anyway, it so happens that Joseph was able to translate this dream. And this is how Joseph ends up at the king's side. And the king was like, can you translate this dream for me? And Joseph did. Anyway, it so happens that Joseph started to have favor with the king now. And because he had favor with the king was like, right, I can trust you to take over a certain area in my kingdom because of what you've done for me. I don't even know how I can repay you, but I thank you so much because I've got all these people around me that so-called can tell me what's happening with my life, my future, my dreams, but they couldn't translate this dream for me, and only you could. So there was favor for Joseph. Anyway, what happened was, all this time, the brother and the father was getting upset, all of these things was going on, and the dad was still mourning for the brother, and everything was happening. Something happened at home which made the brothers go to the king's kingdom. So the brothers went there, and when the brothers came, they didn't realize that actually Joseph was appointed the king, because now Joseph was appointed the king. At this point, there was a transition, and the king said, look, Joseph can have this rights, So the king gave Joseph the rights to now he was in control. He was in command. So the brothers was coming to Joseph, which they didn't even realize it was him, obviously, because they couldn't, how would they comprehend that that's where Joseph would be? So they was talking to the king, bowing down to Joseph. Oh, can you help us with this situation? We've got no food. We need food over here. And, please, can you help us, our king? Because that's what they would do those times. So Joseph was like looking at them, and he knew who they was, but they didn't know who he was. So he was talking to them like, anyhow, nah, I'm not going to help you. Actually, throw them in the prison. So by this time, that's what he did. He said, throw them in the prison. But they didn't understand why. They didn't even understand it was Joseph. Anyway, Joseph, by this point, he started to think about, okay, how is he going to play this story? So this is the reason why he said, make them go to the jail. But he didn't know how to handle it, because obviously he was in shock that they was there. And, he couldn't believe that they was the ones that was coming to him after what they did to him. Anyway, he had heart. He had compassion. What he did is he asked the brothers, had told the brothers, look, it's me, Joseph. And they was like, what? Oh my days, I can't believe you're here. Oh, we're so sorry. This. And he was like, look, don't worry about it. This is how he was, calm and collective. Don't worry about it, because he knew he had God's favor, God's love. So it doesn't matter what you're bringing to him. He has conquered all the tests and the trials that you put him through. He actually ended up here at the king's house. He needed to go through all that devastation to be the one that's on top today. He had to go through all that torment turmoil, because if he didn't, he wouldn't have been where he was, the position that he was. He wouldn't have been there. So he told the brothers, go and get my dad and go and get my mum and my brother, my younger brother, because the younger brother he was so close to, and this is Joseph, was close to the younger brother, you know, and he asked them, go and get my younger brother and my father, and they did so. Anyway, the father came and they couldn't believe that it was Joseph. Everyone was so happy. The dad was happy. The younger brother was happy. Everyone was happy now. They couldn't believe it, that my son is not dead. He's actually a king. So he realized that the reason why he had so much favor for Joseph, and the reason why he kept on pushing him and making him pray and fast and putting him through the turmoil, he knew that he would become somebody great. So this is the reason why Joseph went through so much hardship, because at the end of it, he was crowned a king, an absolute king. Now, everybody, this story is absolutely amazing. It's just to show you about life. Stay humble, stay remaining in the Lord, regardless of whatever tribulation you are going through. The Lord is there for you. He will help you through. When you're going through your lowest point, it's actually because there's something greater on the other side. The devil knows what's coming for you. Think of it like this. Whenever you're going through something bad, it's because something good is waiting for you around the corner, and the devil doesn't want you to get it. So he's trying to make you think of stress so you don't get what belongs to you. So Joseph's story is amazing. Obviously there's much more to tell to the story, but I just wanted to outline that in itself, because you have to realize with life, guys, that things will come your way, but God is here to see you through the fire regardless of anything that's happening, you know. So that's all I've got to say for Wisdom Wednesday. Wisdom Wednesday. Wisdom Wednesday. That's all I got to say for Wisdom Wednesday. I hope you liked it, guys. I'm not out of time. I'm not out of good news. I'm out of time, but I just want to play some music before I go. So let's see what I got for you. Oh. Was pressing sin. Now potential leader, got a change from within. I'm a foot on the devil's neck. I can't say it ain't working. I'm doing my cracks, I'm daily. I'm telling you that it's working. Aye, God's word is a sword. Kinda slipping, leaving conviction. Now I gotta make a difference. And so's my burden. I climb out this ghetto, what saves that person. Aye. First love to the world and back. The church is where I grow. Only go for people around me. Doing work with the Holy Ghost. Being lukewarm don't make sense. God said he will spit you out. Everyone on fire for Christ. Jesus roll the flame, won't go out. Fornicating, masturbating. Now I'm trying to win some souls. Checked out, boring. That's the place that we go. John 3:16. That's the place that we go. Okay, guys. So shalom, and I'll see you next week.